I am Kabbani, and this is the Lighthouse for today's viewers. Welcome to our show. As you know, my viewers, after I moved to Sacramento, I had my first new family in Access, Sacramento, and my second new family in Toastmasters. When I become a member in Toastmasters, I find how treasure things we have there. And you have seen speeches. I brought it from Toastmasters. That's why today also we have part of that treasure from our club. All what I will say, don't worry, be happy. Our speaker will tell you this story in his speech. He will introduce himself. And don't worry, be happy.
Thank you. My name is Robyn Lynan. I'm a member of Toastmasters, and this is the last speech I gave on Don't Worry, Be Happy. A simple little phrase, yet, when applied to life, becomes a very powerful force in governing our ability to be happy. Why do people worry? There's many reasons why people worry. But worrying, we've already found out, is bad for your health. Most people worry over things that never happen. For example, Y2K. Now we have the Mayan calendar. And if the world does come to an end, what are you going to do about it? Absolutely nothing. Why? Because it's out of your control. So instead of worrying, why don't you channel that energy into doing something more constructive, like being happy? Besides, you'll be able to tell your friends you quit worrying just for the health of it. Now, when we come to these things in our life of worrying and happiness, there are oppositions. There's opposition in all things. Life, death, love, hate, sickness, health, and on and on and on. It's a universal, eternal law. Now, if you say there is no law, then you also say there is no sin. And if you say there is no sin, then you also say there is no righteousness. And if you say there is no righteousness, then there be no happiness. And if there's no righteousness and happiness, then there is no punishment or misery. And if these things are not, there is no God. But there's not a person here who hasn't experienced joy and happiness in their life, nor is there a person here who hasn't experienced pain and sorrow. Life is like a roller coaster with its ups and downs and its twists and turns, your good days and bad days. You're having a great day right now, watch out. A bad day's on its way. Now, knowing this, why don't you prepare right now so when that arrives, you'll be able to have a good day, perhaps, instead. Because there is good and all bad. And there you can really find joy in your sorrows. Let me ad-rim this wonderful thought so it may better understand the simple truth behind it. Back of every phenomenon, if that phenomenon is properly understood and evaluated for its full meaning, there is a cause to justify all the unusual nature of the phenomenon. And for every sorrow, there's a compensating vision. The greater and deeper the sorrow, the more far-reaching and meaningful the cause behind it. No matter the nature of the sorrow, there is a way to view it and a point from which to evaluate it in its full relationship to understanding the cause behind it. Disasters and death and destruction have a definite relationship to conditions as they are and from which they have to be considered. every improper and false interpretation of any disaster cannot but make it more difficult to understand. To every seeming disaster, there is a proper way to evaluate it, and that way, in all cases, is the most hopeful and cheerful way to see it. To see it in its true light makes it more tolerable, even joyful, if viewed from the fully correct viewpoint. Thus, our sorrows in the world to come may become matters of joy. One day I had several errands to run and 2 very important appointments to go to. Right after the first errand, I jumped to my truck and turned on the key and click. I tried again. Click, click, click. Terror came upon me as I realized I was going nowhere and I'm going to miss those appointments because the starter had just gone out on my truck. Then anger settled in. Why me? Why now? I got too many things to do. I don't have time for this. And I said, "Ugh!" And while I was thus sizzling in my fit of rage, this wonderful thought came to me. Aren't you glad it happened now? Instead, 2 weeks ago when you were crossing that desert on that dark, lonesome highway at 2 o'clock in the morning. I found myself nodding yes. And as I was nodding, I saw a parts store just up the street. And I thought, well, I bet they got a starter. I quickly checked behind my seat, and sure enough, I had my tools. I thought, man, I can fix this thing myself. I'm sure glad it's light outside so I can see what I'm doing. Let me tell you, as I was installing the last bolt on that starter, I was singing, I'm getting me a new starter, oh yeah. And I had completely changed my sorrows into joy because I had viewed it from the fully correct viewpoint. My mother could find joy even in doing dirty dishes. She had this little English poem posted right above the kitchen sink that said, thank God for dirty dishes. They have a tale to tell. While others may go hungry, we've eaten very well. With home and help and happiness, I shouldn't want to fuss, for by the stack of evidence, God's been good to us. Be thankful for what you have. The secret to having everything in life is realizing that you already do. Now, when that thought solidifies deep within your soul and crystallizes in reality, you will have an abundance of joy and happiness in your life. Why, we live like kings and queens compared to the majority of the people living on this earth today. Now, when you have these trials and tribulations come upon you, these sorrows and disasters, and they will, remember they have been orchestrated just for you, for your benefit, for your learning, for your understanding, for your knowledge, for your experience, and dare I say, happiness. So don't worry, be happy.
Thank you for this really lovely speech. And I know our viewers, for sure, they are waiting to hear about you. Will you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Well, my name is Robyn Lynan. I was born in a small southeastern Utah town called Monticello. I'm the youngest of 6. I was the baby, and the Lord knew what He was doing when He had me come last, because had I been first, I would have probably been the only child. Because there's not a lot of things that rhyme with Robin other than problem. And I used to march the beat of my own drum, but I was always out of step. My father died when I was just a year old, so she took on raising all us kids by herself. So she had 6 under the age of 8 to raise by herself. She went back to teaching school. I was lucky enough to have her as a 4th grade teacher. I will remember the very first day of 4th grade, the kid sitting next to me made some smart remark. And my mom came down and just smacked me across the face with the back of her hand. I go, what did you do that for? She says, just because you're my son. Don't think you're getting away with that in my class. I said, well, that wasn't me. It was Tommy Cowan. She said, oh, well, let that be a lesson to you. She's a wonderful teacher. I learned a lot from my mom. She was only 4'11". So by the time I was in the 5th grade, I was bigger than she was. But I used to tell her I made her tough. But as I got older, I realized she made me tough. Yeah. I moved to California in '69. because I had to come all the way here to find someone to put up with me. None of the girls in Utah would put up with me. So that's where I met my wife. We've been married 43 years last week. We have 8 children, 22 grandchildren. And we've been very, very blessed. I have a cleaning company in Utah and here in California. We came down here after all these years waiting to get back to Utah, which is my home state, so that we could take care of her parents. Her mom has Alzheimer's, her dad had a stroke, and so they're unable to take care of themselves. So rather than put them in a rest home, we decided we'd come down. And so it's been good. It's been a good experience. Plus I got to get in Toastmasters. My son's been in Toastmasters for years, been always trying to get me to join. I go, no, I'm not going to do that, get up and talk in front of people. But it's been very beneficial, very great learning experience for me. I've really enjoyed it. And I got to meet you.
Is it helpful for your business also?
Yes, yeah. It helps me to speak to people without going, and don't, it teaches you to think on the spot, which is very helpful. And when you talk to people, you really notice it, especially as you've been in Toastmasters and you listen to people on talk shows and that, you go, wow, how can they talk like that? They're, they don't get their point across. They stutter a lot. But it's been very good for me, and as far as talking to people, total strangers. Of course, I've always been able to talk to people.
You look more professional when you speak. Clearer than mom, whatever.
Like Jay was talking the other day, he had this guy that was supposed to be the big wig that putting this thing together, and he couldn't even talk without reading what he'd written down. And it's sad. Toastmasters is wonderful. It teaches you how to communicate with people and clearly say what you mean.
And you meet people like us. We become friends, family.
Yes.
And it is a great feeling.
Toastmaster is like one big happy family.
Yes, I agree with you.
I've enjoyed every time I've gone. Every time I go, I learn something. It's just a wonderful fellowship. It is.
Absolutely.
It's another family.
That's the way
and when you
feel.
said you have another family, it's true. It's just like another family.
Yes, that's the way I feel it. So let's have a break, then we will talk about your experience.
Okay.
We'll be back soon.
You're watching The Lighthouse for today's viewers, brought to you by oneworldforyou.org.
So we have been listening to the speech. It was really nice speech. And this is a hobby for Mr. Robyn. His business, cleaning business from home and outside. But he has a lot of things as handyman also, and he is talented with so many things. Let's dig in and know what he has. What you will tell us first.
Okay, well, I'll tell you how I got into the cleaning business. I have bad knees. I inherited them from my grandfather. It's called degenerative hereditary arthritis. I'm almost bone on bone. So I have problems with my knees, and I was working at Costco, and it got to where I couldn't even hardly get up to go to the bathroom in the morning without getting a cane. And it'd be about 10 o'clock before my knees would start working. So I finally had to quit. My wife says, you can't quit Costco. Alcohol is better. What are you going to do? My son washed windows, and I says, I'm going to have him teach me how to wash windows. I'm going to go wash windows, clean windows. And he goes, no, you're not. You need a real job. I said, no, this is what I'm going to do, because you can make good money, you can build up clientele, and so I did. So I had my son teach me how to wash windows and clean them good, and we'd go in houses and clean them, and then I started getting businesses, and then I thought, well, wintertime, it's pretty rough getting out there and washing windows or cleaning windows, and so I decided I'd start doing janitorial service. So then I found out the best way to get it is by advertising. So I started advertising. I got in the yellow pages and online. Within a year, I had so much business, my wife had to quit her job and come to work for me.
Wow.
And she loved it because she only had to work about 2 days a week compared to the other, and she still got the same amount of money.
Wonderful.
So that's how I got into the cleaning business, and it's like anything else. You have good people work for you, you've got a good thing going. If you have people that are bad, then you end up losing accounts. But I had really good accounts. One account would pay every week which covered all my expenses. Everything else was just gravy. So we really liked it. It was a good business. It's still very lucrative. I still have accounts in Utah. And I have accounts down here. And so this month I'll be coming out in 1 million phone books. So I hope to keep growing the business. My idea of running a business is when I get a new account, I'll go in there, see exactly what they want after I bid on it, and then I go do it myself. I'll either take my wife or someone with me, and then I do it and follow up with them and see how you want it done. And once they get it done and they're happy, then I hire someone on to do that job. And then I train them to do it just like me. And that way I can just send out the invoices and collect the money, and they get a piece of the pie, I get a piece of pie. That's the way I like to do business.
It is the way to teach our viewers also how to be successful in business. Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's been very good. My only regret is I didn't do it 40 years ago. 'Cause we were cleaning a bank and a post office and a BLM for other people. And back then, had we got into it, we could have had all our kids working for us, and it would have been wonderful. But woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's
it's a
life
good family business too.
It's turned out to be very nice the way it is.
So I guess one day you brought to the Toastmasters a gift, a nice mirror. And you said you made it. I was surprised to see it.
I was working for the Boy Scout Christmas tree lot over in Davis, and on the back of a little program, I started doodling. And I thought, wow, this is cool, because it's all geometric. I can't draw people and things, but I can draw designs. And so I thought, well, I'll draw another one. And every time I draw, I would try to make it different. It's amazing, I even took up drawing. My art teacher in the 7th grade had us sharpen a pencil and showed us exactly how to sharpen it. And then the next day, he wanted to see us sharpen it. And I didn't sharpen it. You're supposed to turn the pencil so you get the lead cut all the way even. So he drew a little circle on the bottom of the chalkboard and had us all go up there and stick our nose in. Those that didn't sharpen right. We thought it was funny, but he kept us there the whole hour, bent over in that position. I lost all interest in art. In fact, I got an F in art because I could care less. After that, I didn't even draw. And it was just happened to doodling that I realized I had that talent, and I could make squares into circles. And I have thousands of patterns, just all kinds of different ones.
That's wonderful. Is it business or hobby?
Well, it's both. If people like to buy them, and I used to sell them in gift shops and hospitals and all over the place. Pretty much lately, last couple of years, I was so busy, I just give them out as gifts. My wife said, why do you give away all these mirrors? What's wrong with you? And I says, you don't understand. There's thousands of women every day thinking about me.
Lucky wife, huh?
There's so many different ways of doing it. So what I do is I'll take a master, and once I get it and draw it, I do everything with ink. I don't use pencils at all, and I don't use rulers. And once I get that, I save that master and make a copy of it. And then I color in the copy. That way I always have the original. And then I can color them in any way I want. And there's so many different ways to color in these drawings. As you can see, there's one colored. I can color that in and it'll look completely different than it is. Here's a new idea I came up with. Got me a circle cutter. And then with the paper, and put it over the hologram, and it gives it a whole new, different look. Now I have literally thousands of drawings. Here's the original heart, for example. It's just all hearts. That's why my company's called Many Hearts, One Nation. Then I take it and I shrink it into transparencies. So I have 6 of those per sheet. And once I get these in there, then I cut them into circles. I have a little circle cutter. Then I put it over the hologram paper. Then I make them into different mirrors. And I have lots of different kinds of mirrors I can make. They're all really pretty. And I also make buttons for Mesa Verde High School. I made them, or little magnets. I have smaller magnets where I can put in for fridges and put in magnets like that, and then with these buttons. So it becomes very fun thing to do. This one here was actually done on the computer, but most of the drawings I do them all freehand. I just draw them, and my kids like to color them in. I've been doing it since 1990.
Show me the hearts again. What did you do with the hearts?
Well, here's the heart, original, and then I make it into these color transparencies, and then I put them over hologram paper.
What did you use it for?
I was trying to think of a name of my company, and my brother says, well, why don't you just say Many Hearts, One Nation?
That's wonderful.
And
that's
so
wonderful.
I still have
like
that website, so that's my website. If you want to look at drawings, you just go Many Hearts, One Nation.
What's your website?
Many Hearts, One Nation.
www?
Yeah, but actually it's just manyhearts.com.
Okay.
Manyhearts.com.
Okay.
I dropped the One Nation out because it was long.
Long, yes.
It still
Yes.
says it on my business cards, but the website's just manyhearts.com.
That's wonderful. We'll
And
try
so
it
I
out.
have all kinds. I need to get my website updated. The guy that designed it moved to Idaho. I have no way of knowing how to get in and
Everything
change things
needs
around. But
time.
one of these days I'll get in there because I've got so many new drawings to put on there
Yes.
that I've never put in, and so I want to get that. And eventually, my idea was get up in the morning, see how many mirrors I have to make, and strip them out, and then take my wife out to dinner.
Oh, wow.
That was my idea of going. And I could still do that if I had to go. I've been to places where I've made some really good money in one day selling, but I don't want to stand there and sell. I got other things I want to do with my time than sit there and sell mirrors. That's why I started giving away. But one of these days, I'll get back into doing it. I'll get it into a market, and then I'll travel.
Okay. Okay. A talented guy has more after the break. Let's be back soon.
oneworldforyou.org, promoting cultural understanding through the media.
I know our guest Robyn shows us the pattern and the mirror. It will be much better if you will see, my viewers, how he is doing that drawing. Will you please show my viewers?
Sure. I'll take a blank white piece of paper, I fold it in half this way, and I fold it in half this way so that I can get the center. Then I draw a straight line down and make what I call just a cross. Most of my drawings start off with a cross. Then I split that difference and come down again. So it's just an X over an X. Doesn't look like much. The secret with drawing is knowing when to take your pen off the ink. I said that wrong. Take your pen off the paper so you don't overcross the lines. People say, how do you draw these drawings? And I say, one line at a time. And as I go, then the details start to fill in, and you can start seeing a pattern forming. I've drawn so many of them that I know pretty much when to stop that ink line and get it going.
Show it before start this. Show it before you start the second phase.
Okay.
Now you have started the second phase.
Yeah, now I've started the second phase. And all I'm doing is I'm making me a bunch of squares. And this drawing, I call it, I'm making a circle out of squares. I remember when I first figured this drawing out, and if I'm in a hurry, I can draw it in 3 minutes, this whole drawing. I time myself. But of course, the slower you go, the more accurate it's going to look, and the better it will look. So, now I'm done with this phase.
All straight lines without rulers?
No, no rulers. And I always use ink. And if I mess up, I start over. So now I got a square, so all I do is split the difference between here and there, and I make myself another square. And this is forming the point to where I'm going to draw to make my circle. You can really get detailed on this. My sister used to teach the prisoners at school in education, and she taught the art class. She had me come in and teach them once. Mm-hmm. By the time I was halfway through the class, they'd already caught on to the concept and were drawing incredible stuff. Wow. I couldn't believe all these stuff to do. Now all I do is just connect the line. This is the critical part, because if you don't keep your hand arched just right, the circle won't come out good. Now this is what I call the skeleton. Once I have the skeleton, of course, with any skeleton, you want to detail it in.
Wow.
It. So once you throw in the detail, then it really makes it more of a 3D effect. And this is the part I'll take it. Once I get my master, then I'll make a copy of that, and then I color in the copies. I never color in the masters anymore, because sometimes I thought, oh, I should have did it this color, or I should have done it that way. So once I get a master, I just leave it black and white, make copies, and color in the copies. This pattern can go on with all the heart drawings and stuff I do. When I come in here, all I do is draw in hearts instead. And it looks like squares, but they're actually all hearts. Then I split the difference between here and there, and then just come down. It kind of gives it a soccer ball effect. And if I'm really wanting to be accurate, I will take it and draw it this way, then I'll come over and draw it this way, and then I'll come down and draw this line here. But when I'm in a hurry or just doing it like this, I can just put it like, it's kind of like a Y. That's all I'm putting in this square. There's a little Y. You can see how fast you can do it, and it's what's fun is to color these in. My grandkids love to color them, my kids love to color them. I've had people wanting me to make just a coloring book with all these different designs just to color them in. They're fun. I have some I've done in black light that are really fun. You turn them on.
It teaches you how to focus also, because it needs a lot of focus.
You know, we had our thing last week for evaluating. Mm-hmm. This is what I drew while we was in taking notes.
I saw you. I saw you. I was amazed.
Now
Show me the product. Show me the finished product now.
Okay. Now I'll put in, just to give it a little bit more dimension. If I was to color in all these squares, it would really drop you into it and give it a 3D look. This is just a little something to add a little more contrast. Put a curved line in with the squares and circles. Now if I was going to use a finished product and finish it off, all these little squares like right here, I would color them in. Every little square would be colored something different, and there's so many patterns you can do. I've got drawings that you can't even tell they're same drawings just because of the colors. Colors make all the difference in the world. I went off on that one, but fortunately this is not a master. This is just to give you an example of what you can do with just a straight line going across. There's the finished product.
Really wow. What is the mirror? The mirror.
Oh yes.
The finished master.
This is what it'll look like. This is all hearts. These are two different drawings that I made out of just squares. This one actually is all hearts. The red one's just all hearts. The green one's all hearts, but I did it with the pattern like I just drew you, and then I filled it in with hearts. And then
it's amazing. You did it within a couple minutes? 5 minutes?
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
Wow.
I can draw really fast, but it takes forever to color them in.
Yes, the color may be the hardest part of it.
Yeah, but that's the fun parts, to color it.
It is really fun.
You find a good color that matches and it goes well with the other ones. It's just, when I did this green one and it came out, it was like emerald with the blue. I didn't color any of the white, so when I put it over the hologram paper, it looked just like mother of pearl in there. It really stands out. And so white's a really good color to bring out other colors.
Wow.
Well, just little things you learn as you
Wonderful. That's helpful. That's helpful. Actually, thank you for that, for showing that. And for sure, we can try again and again. We will learn. If you need any help, call him.
I'll leave it here. You can practice.
Okay. So we'll be back soon. So that mirror business, imagine Robyn brought it to Toastmasters and gave us a speech how to do it from A to Z with the machine, with the heart, the work, everything. We were shocked to see it. A hobby become business with details. I supposed to show it to you, but it was short notice when I asked him to bring it to the show. But let's open his pocket and see what he has more for us as hobby.
Well, I like music.
Okay.
I've always liked music. I want to learn how to play piano. My mother had a piano, and so everybody in the house played piano but me. So I want to learn how. So she put me in piano lessons. This is when I was about 6. And the teacher told her, "You're wasting your money." She says, "He has an ear, and he hears it, and he makes me play it, and then he plays it the way I play it." He says he'll never be able to play a piano. So she took me out. But I still had a desire to play. So I taught myself. I can't read notes, but I can play a lot of songs. And I found out the time it takes me to learn someone else's song, I can make up my own.
Wow.
So I play classical, I play jazz, I play rock and roll, I play country, I play all kinds of stuff. My music is like my drawings. They're just really different.
Wow.
Because I have... Remember that talk I gave on behavioral genetics where you have the brain crossover? Because I'm left-handed, but I'm not in my right mind.
Wow.
I'm in my left mind because you think in the opposite hemisphere of whatever your dominant eye is. So in my case, to find out your dominant eye, my right eye is my dominant eye, so I think in my left brain. So I think that's why I can do a lot of these weird things like make a circle out of squares and be able to play all these different music. But I've always liked to whistle. I remember I was 8 years old before I could whistle. I've got grandkids that are 5 that can whistle already.
And you gave a speech about the whistle also.
Yeah. I can whistle 8 different ways.
Okay, show us.
I'll show you one. The most common way is... That's the common whistle. I can play my lip. I can whistle like a cricket, and that took me a long, long time to learn how to do. There was this Indian guy, I used to deliver meat to the reservation. I drove a meat truck. And every time I go there, I said, do it again, do it again. He had this little cricket. And I had to learn how to do that. It took a long time before I could get the sound. It looks simple, but it's really hard. Another one that was hard is the train whistle, because you have to blow 2 notes at the same time. And I don't know how I do it, but I can do it.
Okay.
And then there's double whistling, where you whistle. It's almost like a warble, but it's really not. It's double whistling, they call it. Then, of course, I can whistle loud. You know how people put their fingers in and go... I used to just go and take it out. My wife doesn't like me to do that because I whistle way too loud that way. Then I can whistle like the tea kettle, where it's a different whistle. I whistle sucking in. I can whistle with my hands. But whistling's fun. Paul Harvey says if you whistle, you live longer.
Wow.
So I hope to... Because you don't take stress out of your life.
Teach us how to do.
You don't have worries.
Let's live longer, maybe through you.
I don't know how to teach people how to whistle. You just make your lips into a circle and blow. But I whistle a lot of different ways. I used to buy these little tin whistles, the penny whistles. I was down at the nut tree years and years ago. There was a guy there that had 2 of them. They're kind of square. And he'd tape off the holes on one and toes on the other so he could play a duet. But you're actually only 6 little holes in there. If you want to hit it sharp and fat, then you have to put your finger over half the hole. That makes it pretty hard to play, but after years of practice, I got it. When I bought my first little tin whistle, it was 69 cents. Now these things will cost you about $16.
Oh.
I went through a lot of them. I used to drive my car with my niece and sit there and blow, and I get up to a stop sign, people honk their horn, hey, and I just turn the whistle and play at it. I don't do that anymore. I'm sure I get a ticket for it.
You will take a ticket,
But it's just like whistling. You can play all kinds of songs on it. In fact, I used to go up there. There's a guy that played up there, a band in Folsom. And I'd sit outside and play with my whistle. And he said, I keep hearing this stuff and didn't want. So finally one day he called me in there and had me play on the stage with him.
Wow.
He says, I don't know how this is
play?
going to sound. He played some Santana, and I played with it. And
So what do you like to play today?
well, I'll just play something simple. I'll play Yankee Doodle real
Okay.
quick just to kind of show you how it goes.
Bravo.
But there's a lot of fun songs you can play on it. I find next to whistling, this is a really easy instrument to play.
Is there any music you like to do or you did by yourself?
Oh, I have so many songs. I just pulled this out of the drawer today. It's been in there for 2 years. So I haven't played for probably 2 years. But
That's
But
nice.
there's fun. It's fun to do. I've got my grandkids playing it. I've got my kids playing it. My son-in-laws play them. My brother plays them. We play duets all the time. Most songs are in key of D or C, and so I have one of each. So if the radio comes on, if they're not in tune with the one, I go the other one. Otherwise, you have to hit all these weird notes, and it's too hard to do. But it's really a fun little instrument to play.
So you give lessons or did you teach your
Sure.
family or something?
In fact, I had this one lady wanted me to teach her son how to play piano.
Okay.
I said, but I can't even read music. She said, yeah, but you know how to do it. I'll give you $15 for a half-hour lesson. Back then, I thought, oh, that's pretty good. I'll do
Okay.
that. So I took him, and I taught him how to do the scales and the right fingering and all the different chord progressions. And every time he get it down, we go out and have an ice cream cone. Well, he went on to become a professional piano player, and he learned up later to learn how to read notes. And he does new age music, really good. I bought his first CD he put out, and it's really.
Wow.
But I helped him learn how. I thought that's pretty
Sure.
cool. I don't even know how to read music, but I can hear it, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy music, and I love singing too. I mean, music's part of my life. I can't picture life without
You
music.
sing songs you write or somebody else?
Both.
Both.
I've written a few songs, and I play the guitar. I have a few instruments. I played baritone all through high school, baritone and trombone. Played it in college band. I figure it's a lot easier sitting in the pep band with all the girls and playing my horn than it was out on the field getting beat up by a bunch of guys. So
Absolutely.
I didn't get into sports.
You have
I
a good taste.
I stayed, but I can read bass clef for the baritone, and I can sing. I can read music for that, but I can't for the piano.
So all hobby for yourself, for your family. You don't do business with that, or you don't go parties, special
but
parties.
no, we don't do that for the music part. But my family loves to sing. All my kids sing. We get together. We sing all the time.
That's
and
a happy
same with-
family.
yes.
Why
And the same
not?
with my immediate family. My brothers and sisters, our siblings. We've always sing. So
That's wonderful.
yeah,
That's
it's
wonderful.
good to have.
It's a good talent from the parents, for sure. Comes from home,
Yeah.
and each kid took something
Well,
from
my
that.
mom at one time was the best clarinet player in the state of Utah. She'd practice 8 hours a day on that clarinet. She went to first chair when she was freshman, and she's really, really good. And my dad was a professional singer, and he wrote a lot of songs and sang. So
running in the
I
family.
got on both sides. That helps.
So do you like to sing something or no?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
After playing my whistle, I'm comfortable with that. I don't know why I could sit and sing right. Oh, there's that little thing. But that wouldn't be appropriate. I'll do it anyway. Ooey gooey was a worm, a mighty worm was he. He climbed onto the railroad tracks, the train he did not see. Ooey gooey.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So absolutely, your talent needed with the kind of tough life what we have. You broke all rules in this tough life, and it seems like you have a happy family, and for sure you brought this happiness to our Toastmasters family, and we are happy always when we see you and start talking here and joking here and whistles here. Really, the time in Toastmasters, it become more fun after you become a member.
Yes.
We had a lot of good people. Everyone has his own talent, but you brought different kind of taste of talent and happiness with it, because it's not serious matter, and that's what we need.
Well, my mother's dad always says, smile, darn you, smile. In fact, I still have that plaque they gave me, and they'd always say, keep smiling. My dad's grandpa would say, it's joyful to the purpose. Both of them lived to 95. Because if you're happy in life, you can deal whatever comes your way. Just like in my talk.
Absolutely.
If you're moaning and groaning all the time, you're going to have a miserable life.
And for aging, if you are angry, the face will be looking old fast.
Yes.
If you smile, it is happiness, and it's showing the younger age more than you think.
Yeah, well, good. I hope I smile more and look young.
Yes.
My mom's dad, from the time he was 65 to 95, didn't look like he aged a bit. He looked the same.
Wow.
So I'm hoping to do the same. I got his haircut, so we'll see how that turns out.
This is a new style also. Don't worry.
I could grow my goatee, but then again, my wife doesn't like that. So.
No, do what your wife likes.
Yeah, I do.
That's it. She is your partner, and she has a good taste too.
Well, in my house, I'm the boss.
Okay.
I wear the pants, and I have her permission to say so.
That's the best part of life.
Yeah.
No woman, in my opinion, like to wear the pants if she has a good husband.
No.
Because each one have his own position. If they do it right, female is female, the male is male, and everyone joined that family the right way, it will be happy
I
family.
find the best way to be happy with my wife is just do what she tells me to, and we get along great.
Oh, how nice of you. How many husbands like you? That's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's have a break, and we will be back soon.
oneworldforyou.org, promoting cultural understanding through the media.
As I mentioned before the break, we had more fun in our Toastmaster Club after Robyn joined us. So that's why I asked him to choose one of his funny and nice stories, because he is a very good storyteller. I asked him to choose a story for you, just to have that kind of taste of fun we live with at that meeting every time. So choose for us the story what you like.
Well, not many people can say they've survived 2 broken necks. First broken neck I had, I was with some friends off swimming, and we got on top of this bridge, and I was dared to dive in the water. And we figured at the deepest it was like 7 feet, at the shallowest at least. And when I dove in, my hands hit, then my face hit, and when I got up, the water was running right here. It was less than a foot deep. It fractured my spine in 3 places. I'm lucky it didn't kill me, knocked the breath out of me. And all I could do was hold my hand up, let them know I was okay. And I thought, first thing I thought is I broke my neck. And I thought, well, if I broke my neck, I wouldn't be thinking about it. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, let's wait and see what's happening. So we started our weenie roast and stuff, and then the pain started coming. And so we left. The nearest hospital is about 44 miles away. It was closest to the hospital. By the time we got to Blanding, I couldn't even sit up anymore. The pain was so great. So I had got in the back seat and laid down. By the time I got to the hospital, I was in convulsions from the pain. And it was all I could do to have them take the x-ray for it. I had just quit my job the day before. I worked at a slaughterhouse. We killed 300 sheep a day.
Wow.
Terrible job. I just,
Wow.
just the smell of it all and everything. I won't even go there. So I just quit. I had no insurance or anything. They said, well, you're a veteran, aren't you? Yeah. I said, yeah. So they put me in an ambulance, sent me all the way to Grand Junction, Colorado. And they said, well, we got to put some tongs in you. So I was on this gurney. They rolled me out. I thought I was going into an operating room. It was just out in the hallway. They dead my head and they opened this tool case, pulled out a drill and took 2 chunks out of my skull and put these tongs in there and clamped it down real tight. And the tongs kind of dug in your head and they had weights on it. Then they put me in what's called a striker frame where they could flip you over every so often.
Wow.
And I was in that striker frame for several weeks. And while I was on the front, I could do a lot with my hands. While I was on my back, I couldn't do much but lay there because I'm tied to these weights and I couldn't go anywhere. I got to where I could turn the TV channel pretty good with my toes. And one day I was on there, I was laying on my front, and it was also a slot there so you could relieve yourself. And they brought in 6 student nurses to show them how to turn the striker frame because none of them knew how. So I was right in the middle of getting my sponge bath, and they came in. So they says, okay, well, let's show you how to do it. And they put the back on, screwed it down, and they flipped it over, and I was exposed. And she goes, oh, we forgot your fig leaf, and they threw a wash rag over me. Well, I'm laying there, I can't do anything. All these girls, I went about 10 shades of red. That was really one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. But there was one thing I could do. After that, I was in a brace for 3 months, and they was hoping, because the bone broke off, that it would come back and knit. And perhaps if I did everything they told me to do, it would have, but I didn't. I didn't like being restricted to the brace, and it had separated. And every time I turned my head forward, my whole body would get shocked. And so I went back to the doctor, and he said, you're one step from being paralyzed, because what was happening, that bone was hitting my spinal cord, and every time it did, he said, one of these times it's going to hit and sever it, and then you won't be moving at all. So they sent me to Salt Lake, and they took part of my hip bone out and fused it into my neck.
Wow.
And they said, if it ever happens again, it won't be in the same spot because it healed really well. And they were right. The next time it broke, it was right above that. But I was feeling sorry for myself until I saw guys that had been shot in World War II through the neck. And all they could move was their eyes. And there was another guy, I felt bad for him. He's working on his car, and a guy comes speeding around the corner and went up in his driveway, hit his car, it dropped the engine on him, and it broke his neck in 7 places. He had to go through the throat to have it fused, then the back. He had the same operation I did 7 different times.
Wow.
And he couldn't get around, he was in a little wheelchair, and I felt sorry for him, but he's the one that told me when he saw those vets, they made him feel better. He made me feel better because I walked away from it both times, so not many people say they can survive a broken neck twice. That did slow me down a lot. I used to dive a lot. I used to do 2.5s, and I'll still do a gainer, 1.5, backflips and stuff, but as far as the 2.5s, I calmed way down. My kids really do call me a grandpa. I drive slow. I don't take chances on anything because I don't like pain. I've been through it. It's not fun, but I've had a lot of damage to this poor body, so I've slowed down as far as taking risks.
Aren't you very thankful to be this way after all what happened to you?
Yes, absolutely. I've been very
unbelievable.
blessed.
Yes. God bless
my grandfather told me at the time it happened, he says, you don't know like I do why it happened. Someone's telling you to wake up and start doing something with your life. He says, next time it might be your thumb or your eye or something else. 5 years later on the same day, I almost got my thumb cut off.
Wow.
2 tendons and an artery. And later on, I started getting this growth over my eye, and I thought, well, I don't want to be like the blind man that said, made me blind so I could see. So I finally slowed down and straightened out.
Wow. Thank God that now you slow down. And you're
Yes.
still doing all those things, but you are slowing down.
I've slowed way down.
Okay.
I keep busy, but I work safe.
now you use your wisdom and your experience in life.
I worked in the mines for 7 years and never got injured. I drilled, I did the dynamite, all of it. Really dangerous work, but I never got hurt because I was conscious all the time. I rode a motorcycle back and forth to work. It'd take me an hour to get there, an hour to get back. Never had a wreck because I was always conscious.
Thank God.
I learned
Thank God.
I don't like pain. And nobody does.
Wow.
But by doing stupid things, you can get and hurt yourself real easy.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we got, I guess what they call it, got one stone hit two birds in one stone. Okay, we got a great speech, but a great story also, great experience. So.
Speaking of that one bird, two stones, back in the day, my grandfather was very poor. His dad was very poor, and he gave him 2 bullets when he went deer hunting. He says, okay, this is all you get. Good luck. Well, he went out and he shot, and just as he shot, hit the deer, another deer jumped up, and he came back with 2 deer and 1 bullet to give back to his dad.
Wow.
So
unbelievable.
That's quite a story, but it's true.
Unbelievable. So I hit the nail now. I brought something unbelievable, and you gave me an answer for that. So this saying, that means it's real. So we'll be back soon. So, as we mentioned, in Toastmasters we talk about so many things, but I think lately we'll have a competition you will share with, speech.
Yes, yeah, I took this last week's competition, which wasn't hard to do because everybody canceled, so winner takes all, loser takes all, it doesn't matter.
Only speaker and the best winner.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I'll be speaking up in Folsom later on this month. But I would have never done something. I took speech in 7th grade, and I hated it. I hated getting up in front of people and talking or debating, things like that, but it's kind of got me out of my shell. I enjoy it.
That's what it really caught my attention. With your story, you are not in business as personal contact, or you need a speech, or you need to stand and talk. And in the same time, also, you talk about your situation in schools. What is the motivation brought you in Toastmasters?
Well, like I said, it was my son. He got in it and did it. Only reason I didn't like Toastmasters in Salt Lake, I had to get up at 5:30 and drive for an hour to get there by 6:30, because that's when their unit started. And I went a few times, and I liked it, but I didn't want to join because I didn't want to put that extra hour driving in. Then I had to drive all the way back. So that's why I didn't do it. And then when I came here, I thought, wow, they got a Toastmaster, because he kept saying, you're going to join Toastmasters? You're going to join? And I looked it up online, and they got one right just down the street from me. I thought, well, I'll go check it out. And it was such a fun group. I mean, the people there are amazing. Just all walks of life. And I had such a good time, I couldn't help but join. But I joined just because I was having so much fun. I didn't think at the time of it improving my speaking skills as much as I did of just having a good time and meeting more people. And now that I've been in it, it's not only improved my speaking skill, but I've got enduring friendships out of it. Toastmasters is wonderful. If people would go and join Toastmasters, they would find what a one thing. Just go visit. Just go visit. It doesn't cost anything to visit. I had a lady who went for 2 years before she finally joined. But it's fun. You learn a lot, and there's stories. You get all these different stories. That's what I like, so all the different stories.
That's my feeling too. Even I mentioned on my show that even a mother, she can handle the situation with the youth, teenager kids, much stronger, mature talk, even though if she trained herself in Toastmaster, how to behave, how to talk.
Absolutely.
And now, really, I'm thinking of start a new club in Arabic for my community, especially the immigrants, new visitors to this country, to help them to adopt the idea to share and to learn from others and to learn about how to live in this country, how to adjust in this country through Toastmasters, but in their language, to make sure that they will accept it. For sure, English is there, but their language first, and English will come helping, and they will learn the English little by little.
Toastmasters for everybody in the world.
Absolutely.
Every language in the world.
It is everywhere in the world anyway.
And it is everywhere in the world.
And it is in Middle East too.
It's just to make you better you. That's all it is. And the bonus is you can make a lot of new friends.
Absolutely. This is the best part of it.
Yes, absolutely. That's
and
good.
Marketing, networking for business people.
Yes.
You know people, you give your information, you take their information, and with the help and the atmosphere as family, we help each other.
Oh, absolutely.
If somebody needs help in his business, we go.
Well, a good example is I built this shed, and I ran this pipe down for my electrical. Well, it was the wrong kind of pipe. We have an electrician in Toastmasters. He came over and looked at it and says, that won't do. But you don't have to run the pipe. You can come right off of your attic and come into the shed that way. He gave me more ideas in 5 minutes than I had in 5 days trying to figure out what I was going to do. So it really is nice to have people who know what they're doing and can share those talents with you.
Absolutely. And when we have the party, there is somebody does the barbecue.
Yeah.
And also I kept asking him to come, our friend, John brother. He kept asking me about Access Sacramento. And one day he says, I would like to join Access Sacramento. He came, he took the classes. He loves it also, and he's happy to be this week licensed.
He's natural.
We, learn from each other and take the best of it, for each one has his need, his own need or her own need in life. So we complete each other.
Absolutely.
So I have the same feeling. That's why I'm asking you, just to let people know, not just me, because I am in Toastmasters. I like it, and I bring you some speeches. No, everybody have the same feeling, especially our club, because
I've never seen
we are family.
A guest come yet that wasn't pleasantly surprised.
Yes, and their first
so
impression.
Fun. This isn't what I thought it was going to be.
The first impression.
And they realize it's something they can do. That's why people keep joining it. It's fun.
So we enjoyed having you in our show, and really, you've had a lot of things. You gave it away to our viewers. On behalf of them, I thank you for coming to our show.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and thank you for having me on your show.
You're welcome. For you, my viewers, I hope that you find something you like, or you learn, inspired somehow from person. He did it all from nothing, and he is successful that way, and he is happy that way with his family. With this message, don't worry, be happy. I'll let you go. We'll see you next time.